Well, welcome back to Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. I am in the process of laying out footers here in the main structure. Worked at this yesterday. I've got the octagon bump out all framed in. Now obviously I've still got a rebar and stuff, and I gotta do some staking over here. But I'm getting it laid out. Hopefully today I'll have most of it laid out. You can see over on the far end, this is my area for my egress. But I've got the main section here of the footprint laid out with the octagon all the way over kitchen area, kitchen and dining, so dining, kitchen area and pantry area. All of that's laid out and clear out to the back. So today's job is to get this section over here done. I've already started some of it. I started laying it out. I have about 10 pieces or so left to go in. Hardest part is driving stakes in this because we're right in ledge, or that shale ledge, so it doesn't like to take wood stakes very nicely. And I know the professionals have metal stakes that they drive. It's all good, but I didn't do that, or I don't have those stakes. So let me come in here, kind of show you what I'm doing. Left up all of my lines to where the walls are, so I can know exactly, you know, these are 2 foot footers. So the easy way to do it was to lay out all of my lines so I knew where the outside wall was, go 8 inches beyond it, and then you got your 8-inch wall and then 8 inches on the inside. So the wall should be pretty well centered in these footers. I know some people just dig the footers randomly and put the walls up however, but I want everything evenly dispersed. So that's where we are today. The other issue that I ran into is because we're planning on doing this with a wheelbarrows, get some of my friends together and wheelbarrow this. I realized that because we've got so many walls going in here, or footers, that it's going to be hard to do that. And so this area, for example, I know I'm going to have to build a ramp up and over in order to pour this, because there's quite a bit of stuff going on here that I can't just cut a hole through. Everything's tied together with these 2 walls. So this area probably will ramp, but here I've got to put in a temporary opening passageway through, so I'll have to cut the rebar and tie it back in when the time comes. And then I'll have to do one over in that area there. So I'll show you what that looks like towards the end of the day. But we've got a start on it here, and the only thing I need to do before I put the rebar in is go back. I've got to dig this down, so I've got a full 8 inches inside my footer. Most of it is 7.5 right now, but that's the major issue, is making sure I'm 8 inches deep at least. And so I will be back. We will do a little bit more of this, show you what it's like. I'm just using my pine boards that I had planned on using for floorboards. They weren't of the grade that I would use for finish work, so always use your material wisely. I'll be back. Welcome back to the Tennessee Frugal Craftsman. We have more disasters. This is the garage side of the construction. This whole side has caved in, probably 4 yards of dirt. And I had my forms all ready to go, so they're going to have to be fixed. And over here we have more disaster. Not quite as bad, but still enough to have to redo portions of this form, that whole outside wall. Had everything pretty much ready to, was within a day of having it ready to pour. I'll be back. All right, it's the end of the day pretty much. My friend came over. We shoveled this all out, got the forms back in place. We've pinned everything. And now I'm going around, just finishing up the last bit over there, putting mud up against the forms so the concrete can't ooze out. Let me see here. This is the other side. So it's starting to rain here a bit. It's been wet and nasty all day. This is this side, all cleaned out. That was by far the biggest job. Getting everything back in order, leveled. And I'm just finishing up out over there, leveling out those pads so they're at least 8 inches deep. It drops off fairly quickly there, so I don't have to do too much. But yeah, the only thing that we have left is to put the rebar in, which is going to be tomorrow, Lord willing. We'll put the rebar in, hang them off the top, and hopefully we can get some concrete. As always, I appreciate you joining me for second or third disaster. Back is still a little sore. Today I'm feeling it because I was doing a lot of shoveling, but it is better. So I'm still waiting for the MRI to be read by the doctor, but I think I'm going to try before I go back to work next week or the week after. I guess it'll be next week. Try to get the footers poured. We'll see how that goes. I'll bring you along for that video. But right now I'm just hoping that this no longer caves. Because if it caves more, we've got a problem. But I'm hoping that that is the last of it. A couple points here. Things that I did. I guess I should show you kind of how I did this. I raised the footers, or the wall, what's going to be about 2 inches. Originally I was only going to go 4 or 6 inches above. We overdug it a bit, so I've got an 8-inch wall, 8-inch footer in there, which is the code here. But I will finish up, I think I'll finish up this video tomorrow. Once we get all of the rebar and everything in, I'll show you how we do that as far as hanging it. You can get chairs, rebar chairs. I'm not exactly sure yet whether I can get ones that are cost effective. Some of them almost $1 a piece. Doesn't take long to shoot $100, $200 by the time you put 2 rows in here, just on chairs when I can hang it with wire. But I made a little jig here for setting the depths. I'll show you the jig. I just hang it off my forms, slide it along, and I know when I've got an 8-inch deep form. So that's worked really nicely. The other thing I did that helped a lot when setting these forms is I set my lines. When I laid out my house, I set the lines, I don't know whether you can see them here, I set them right on the outside of the house. So what the maximum width of the house is going to be. So in this case, 40 feet this way, 28 feet across here. And that's where I set my lines. I squared everything. And then I took a piece of wood and marked it 8 inches on 8-inch increments. I guess, let me see, I don't know whether I had one here. Oh, here it is. 8-inch increments. And so you can see
that when I put this in the form, it doesn't have to be perfect, but when I put it in the form, that's 8 inches over and then 16 on the inside, which allows the 8-inch wall another 8 inches. So you've got 8 inches, then an 8-inch wall, and then 8 inches. So that was a really easy way of doing that. Here in the middle, these load-bearing walls, I just centered my forms. Doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, this is kind of what's going on as far as the laying out of the footers. The other thing, I can't remember whether I did this in one of the earlier parts of the video, so I'm doing this over several days. I jogged this out here, so by the time you come in to 8 inches and come back here in 8 inches, because you know where your wall's going to be is the center of this form, I've got enough distance here coming about 24 by 24 square, and this is going to be the base for the flue, the chimney. So doing that right in the footers itself. So I will come back, finish this up tomorrow when we get all of the rebar hanged, put in place. This is show you another view of it here. Try not to go too fast. It's a little, as you can see, it's a little sloppy in here, but the concrete will push that all out of the forms. So we are ready to go. We can get concrete. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's been a few days since I've been out here. Well, actually I was out here yesterday, but it's been a few days since I've worked. You can see all the rebar now is in. I've got them up on rebar chairs. I don't know whether you can see them there. Actually my friends came over and helped me do this. I have been out of commission for the last 2 days plus because I got strep really bad. The day that I cleaned everything up here from the cave-ins, I went home that evening and my throat started bothering me. And by the end of the evening, I was in bed. And then for the last 2 days, that's where I have been. I've been in bed. So I'm back out here trying to get some stuff. I'm going to work on the garage, finish up a video I started there about 2 weeks ago. But you can see all of the rebar is in. It's always good to have friends like I have, I'm telling you. You'll also see some white pipes in here and there. I'm going to concrete those right in. Those are where I'm running my lines through for my interior drains and whatnot inside. And let's come over here. You can see what that looks like. So these have been all formed up. So it's ready to go. I don't know when I'll be getting concrete, whether it's going to be any time soon. Simply because of the fact I haven't been able to get a hold of the concrete people. So that's kind of where we're at. So just to recap, this is my bump out area where I'm going to have my egress coming out here. And then of course the main house. The chimney will be over there right in that corner. And everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Kind of see where we're bringing the be able to wheelbarrow through there to get these portions over here. I still have to build a ramp up over this area to wheelbarrow out into here. Didn't figure it was worth hiring a pumper to do that, even though I'm sure it's easier. The cost is not the greatest to do something like that, so we're going to do everything in our power to get that done by wheelbarrow. So we should be able to get that poured hopefully in the new year, because everything today is the 29th. Everything's kind of come to a screeching halt here over the holidays. So anyway, as you can see, that's where we're at, and hopefully we'll get no more cave-ins. Had a little bit more over here, but it didn't affect our forms. But I think everything is pretty much ready now to go to pour. So appreciate you joining me for that video. Sorry it's taken so long to finish it. It's just been, like I said, one of those things. I battled strep back here in October. It was right during my break in October when I had 3 days I could have worked, and I ended up being in bed for 3 days. And now I've been out for 2 days this time. The only difference this time is I knew exactly what was coming on, so I immediately got to the doctor and got a prescription to kind of knock it down as soon as I felt it. So anyway, I'm out here by myself today, so I'm not around people, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of work done, and I will bring you along for a little bit of that a little later. So until then, as always, you have a great day, and if you would, please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.